Let's face it, the medic is hard as hell to get good at. In fact, I'm pretty sure anyone else has spent at least 5 minutes playing, realize you're not the ones getting those sick frags anymore, and just dismiss the class as worthless altogether. Meanwhile, those of us brave enough to play what so few people are bored enough to play are out to step up our medic game. Luckily, I'm here to help you do just that. Here are a few tips to beefing up your doctor skills to the next level. The first trick is something that's a bit more subtle than the rest, called masking Uber. For anyone who's played medic for at least 40 seconds, you'd know that the very moment you fill up that delicious bar of Uber, the medic decides to scream at the top of his German lungs, "I am fully charged!" And in case you didn't know, everyone can hear it. So, to keep the enemy from knowing what you would under normal circumstances politely inform them, simply press the call for medic button just as you fill the bar. This cancels out the song of his people and keeps everything neatly under wraps. If you want to get really sneaky, use a different call out that's quieter, or even better yet, insult them.
Is there a point to your lives?
Moving on, the next advice I have for you is pretty simple. When you're building, capping a point, or just simply non-mobile, it's a great idea to keep your back up against the wall. What this does is minimize your periphery, so instead of having 360 degrees to keep track of, now you only have 180. It sure as hell makes keeping track of your team easier. Being able to buff people who have just respawned as soon as you see them and not having to turn your focus away from the rest of your team is pretty damn handy. Also, getting into this habit can help you see spies, pushes, and pretty much anyone else in the wrong neighborhood. It basically just doubles your field of view and helps keep you from getting caught with your pants down. So not only all of this, but it does wonders in protecting you from spies. With your back against the wall, spies can't sneak up behind you as easily and give you a knife back massage party, because whatever your angle you're at, the wall behind you cuts the spy's range down from 180 to at most 45. Of course, when it's time to push, by all means stop being a wallflower, but up until then, sticking to the Bane of Berlin might just give you the edge. The next tip is known as the bow and buff. Basically, this boils down just to sinking a crossbow bolt into someone a second before you heal them. Since the crossbow does at least 75 points of healing and is not affected by crit heals, you can shoot your friend in the face with a candy cane and get him to an overheal faster than simply healing him. A freshly damaged teammate will get to full health and above roughly 2 seconds faster with a bow and buff than simply healing him flat out. And while normally hitting someone with a crossbow bolt is a bit more difficult from farther away, when someone's a few feet in front of you, it's a pretty clear fucking shot. However, if you do happen to farva bad enough and miss the crossbow stab entirely, you might as well just go straight to healing him as you would regularly. It's the medic equivalent of throwing a piece of paper into the waste bin, missing, and then having to walk and pick it up. It's just plain embarrassing. The advice I have next is a bit more complicated, so for this, we're going to need a whiteboard. What you're looking at here is the most efficient formation of medic and teammate. This includes a medic, a sweeper class, and a damage class. Basically, the one in the front is a damage class and is the primary healing target. His job is to dish out punishment. Not necessarily meant to rack up kills, but more just to bleed out and weaken the enemy. Explosives are perfect for this, meaning that soldier and demos are most likely going to be always in front. Most average medics would assume this is a job for the heavy, but the problem is while he does have a high damage output, he can really only damage one person at a time. Meanwhile, the splash damage gets everyone. On the other side is the sweeper class, there to back up the damage class, but also there to protect the medic. This can be anyone well equipped enough for close range, pyros and scouts mostly. Soldiers work occasionally, but their lower short range mobility makes them less than ideal. Now, there are plenty of different combinations for this, but the most efficient that I've found is a scout as a sweeper and a good demo as the main damage output. The scout's high mobility can simultaneously protect the medic and keep people out of the demo's close range, and the sticky bombs are enough to bleed the enemy out in a heartbeat. This hit scan and explosives combo is pretty deadly in any situation, and combined with the right kind of uber charge can turn the tides of war in an instant. Let's take this back to the game, shall we? This is what the formation normally looks like. Damage here, sweeper here, and medic here. Here you can see the damage class moving in and whittling down the enemy's health like childhood obesity, and the sweeper comes in taking care of the stragglers. And without fail, the push is complete. Bear in mind, however, this works exponentially better with the incorporation of the rest of your team, and if coordinated right, can wedge enough room in the front line to change the course of history. And so, boys and girls, the last trick up my sleeve is surfing. Well, yeah, that too, but I mean damage surfing. As those of us who don't permanently live under the effects of a quick fix Uber know, knockback is a pretty common element in the game. Bullets, explosives, compression blasts all have their toll on movement, but if done right can easily work in your favor. Scout shots particularly are fairly difficult to surf, but simply by repeatedly jumping and timing it well enough, him firing at you can blast him away from you, all the while you're turning him into a syringe pincushion. Rockets and stickies, however, are probably the best to surf on because you can see them coming like transparent genitalia, and therefore they give you a slight heads up on your timing. To surf rockets, simply jump and crouch at the same time just before the rocket reaches you. Most soldiers aim at your feet anyway, and that alone can send you flying sky high. The same goes for stickies and the occasional pipe bombs, though these pills are slightly more difficult to predict. Once you're airborne, let go of W. You don't need it. Use the mouse and the AD keys to steer yourself onto higher ground and making you much harder to hit with a follow-up. And if you aren't familiar with how surfing works, it's a good idea to visit your local surf map and get a better understanding of the general physics behind it. In the end, the medic takes practice, and while these tips may help, it's up to you to find what kind of style of play fits you best. Over time, you'll learn the best strategies, the best way to use the charge, and the signs to tell that you are fucked. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is ArraySeven, and this has been a set of advanced medic tips. I hope you all have the greatest of Uber Pops and the most handsome of days.
I'm the invincible, undefeated champion. Mount Zion's, my ancestors can't rely on. Star of David, nah, the thought of stardom. Martyrdom and done crumbs left to the dumb thumb. To this play button, glutton of words. Mutton, birds of fly to fly to you, dropping turds. Hopping up on ignorance to feel how your body pop up the real. Dance the visual cry to deity. Pious piety might it be. To see is truly to be me. I see everything there is, so I'm